My child, I want you to hear me today, not because every femur shifted, not because every problem around you has been solved, and not because I take care of impossible disappeared. I am speaking because I am the one who handles what seems impossible, and I want that truth to settle deeper than every worry that has occupied your heart. This moment is not a coincidence. It has arrived exactly when you needed to hear a voice telling you that you can finally breathe again. You can release your grip. You can allow yourself to rest. I am good even now, even here, even in this place where the answers have not come as quickly as you hoped they would. When the waiting feels heavier than your heart can comfortably bear, and when you carry a smile outwardly while inwardly something still feels unsettled, my goodness remains unchanged. Today I am not asking you to make commitments you are unable to keep. I am not asking you to speak words that have not yet become real in your heart, and I am not expecting you to display strength you do not presently have. I am simply asking you to listen. Listen with a willing heart, listen without resistance, and listen without rushing ahead to what comes next. As you listen, something is already taking place within you. The places that felt disturbed are beginning to quiet down, and the parts that seemed tangled are slowly finding order. What was growing weary and close to giving up is being strengthened in ways you may not even recognize yet. I know you have been carrying more than you should. I know your mind has not found the rest it desperately needs. I know you have spent energy trying to fix situations that were beyond your ability to control. I know you have replayed future possibilities in your thoughts, even though many of those moments have not happened. Without realizing it, all of that has been gradually stealing the peace that was meant for you. That is why I am speaking to you now. I am not coming with criticism, reminders of past mistakes, or expectations that add even more weight to your shoulders. I come with both gentleness and authority, asking you to protect your peace. Not because your problems are insignificant, and not because what you are facing lacks importance, but because I am greater than every challenge standing before you. I remain faithful, and I never lose control, not even for a single moment. There are choices ahead that make you uneasy, roads you are unsure whether to follow, and answers you have been waiting on for far longer than you expected. There have been quiet seasons that made you wonder if I was still working. Yet I want you to remember something important. I am already moving in places your eyes cannot see. I see your weariness. I see the nights when sleep feels distant and the thoughts that surface once the world grows quiet. I see the questions you keep hidden and the effort you continue to make without recognition from anyone around you. I also see the quiet faith that has carried you through, even when you could not fully understand what was happening. I do not condemn you for any of it. I am not pointing out your failures, nor am I demanding more than you can give. Instead, I draw near and invite you to rest in me. There are burdens you were never intended to carry by yourself, worries that were never yours to own, and battles that have occupied your heart for far too long. There are responsibilities you picked up simply because no one else seemed willing to carry them. There are emotional weights you absorbed without ever being asked to do so. I see every bit of it. I see what you have endured, how much you have carried, and the hidden cost you have paid that few people ever noticed. I am fully aware of what you are going through, but I will not allow it to write the ending of your story. I am still with you when you feel vulnerable. I remain faithful when your strength feels depleted, and I remain good even when you cannot understand the season you are walking through. Hold this truth deep within your heart today. Your peace is not dependent on everything being resolved right now. It is found in who you trust with the things you cannot fix yourself. Peace does not come from circumstances finally aligning. It comes from the certainty that I am with you. This is your invitation to pause, take a breath, and release the need to control every outcome. When you loosen your grip, I take hold. And when I take hold, situations that once seemed impossible begin moving into place, often before you even realize it is happening. So keep listening. Do not rush ahead, and do not allow distractions to pull you away from this moment. Even when your thoughts keep returning to worry, I remain in control of what appears impossible. I am still good, even now, even in this season, where you have done everything within your power and still cannot see the results. There are times when the heart becomes more exhausted than the body, and I know that is where you are today. Perhaps you have been strong for longer than you thought possible. You have continued carrying your responsibilities while something inside you quietly felt as though it was fading. It may have been difficult to describe, but it has been there. And even if no one around you recognizes it, I do. I see every unnoticed effort. I see every night you chose faith despite the silence, and every quiet act of trust that continued sustaining your life. That is why I am speaking gently to you today. My purpose is not to place more pressure on you, but to help lift what has already become too heavy. I want you to understand this clearly. Peace does not mean the absence of problems. Peace means choosing trust while those problems still exist. It is not ignoring reality. It is recognizing a reality that is greater than what you see. It is trusting in my faithfulness. When you guard your peace, you are not pretending that nothing is wrong. You are acknowledging who holds authority over what is happening. Some situations will never be solved by more thinking, and some burdens grow no lighter by endlessly rehearsing every possible negative outcome. There are also impossible situations that begin to change when you stop fighting alone and allow me to move. I am not asking you to carry responsibilities that were never yours. I am asking you to trust that I know exactly how, when, and where to step in. Perhaps today you feel as though you have reached the end of your own solutions. You have prayed, you have waited, and you have continued trusting. And yet, from where you stand, it may seem as though nothing has changed. But I want you to understand something clearly. A lack of visible change does not mean that nothing is taking place. Much of what I do begins in places you cannot see, in the hidden depths, within the heart, beneath the surface long before anything becomes visible in the world around you. While it feels as though everything is paused, I am already arranging details that remain beyond your sight. I am closing doors that would ultimately bring harm, and I am preparing paths that have not yet come into view. I do not act impulsively, I am never late, and I do not make mistakes in the way I care for you. Every season of waiting carries purpose, and every period of silence holds meaning. Nothing is happening without intention. I know there are fears you keep hidden, concerns you never speak aloud, because you do not want to burden those you love. I know the thoughts that emerge when you are alone and the world's noise fades into the background. Even then, I do not move away from you. I draw even closer, because when your heart becomes unsettled, my peace becomes all the more necessary. Today I invite you to live one day at a time. Do not carry tomorrow's weight into today, and do not exhaust yourself over events that have not happened. Rest in the assurance that I am already present in your future, attending to every detail before you arrive there. When you trust me, your soul can find rest even while questions remain unanswered. There are battles that are not won through greater effort. They are won through deeper trust. There are burdens that are not made lighter through tighter control. They become lighter through surrender. Even situations that seem impossible begin to shift when you choose peace and allow me to take charge. I see what has been happening in your mind. It has felt like a battlefield filled with unwanted thoughts, repeated scenarios, and fears that race ahead into a future that has not arrived. Comparisons have convinced you that you are behind, and doubts have surfaced just when you thought you had finally found some quiet within yourself. Today I want you to know that every thought that enters your mind does not deserve a permanent place there. Some ideas do not need your attention, and some fears do not deserve to be accepted as truth. Peace also means being able to say, "This thought does not have authority over me." It means choosing trust when your mind wants control and returning to me whenever inner noise tries to reclaim the calm I have already given you. I am preparing you for more than mere survival. I am preparing you to truly live. I am leading you toward a steadiness that is no longer governed by constant fear, and away from the pressure that has stolen so many nights of rest. What lies ahead requires a heart that is firmly grounded, not one driven by panic or anxiety. Perhaps you have already noticed a change. The circumstances may remain unresolved, yet you no longer respond the way you once did. There was a time when fear took hold much more quickly, when difficult news immediately robbed you of peace and made everything feel as though it was falling apart. Now, even while you continue to wait, a quiet calm has begun to accompany you. You may not always understand it or know how to explain it, but it is there. That calm is not indifference. It is me shaping your inner life, preparing you to carry what is ahead with peace rather than fear. Before I do something significant, I first teach you how to remain steady. This is not so you will settle for less, but so you will be strong enough when change arrives. There are blessings that become burdens when they are received by a heart consumed with anxiety. That is why I am teaching you calm before revealing more of what I am able to do. I know you have lived through seasons where everything felt urgent. You felt as though every decision had to be made immediately, and that hesitation would cost you everything. Time itself seemed to pressure you into choices made from exhaustion rather than wisdom. But today I am teaching you a different way. Not everything valuable happens quickly. Some of the most meaningful things grow quietly in hidden places, maturing over time. There are answers that become stronger through waiting, and there are changes that are built little by little without drawing attention to themselves. Protecting your peace does not mean refusing to move forward. It means refusing to move from anxiety. I want your decisions to come from faith instead of pressure, from clarity instead of exhaustion. When choices are made from weariness, the first available escape often looks attractive, even when it is not the right path. But decisions made from peace lead you toward what is truly right. They guide you toward what has lasting value, what is deeply rooted, and what can endure. Those choices carry a future within them because they are built on something stronger than urgency. Perhaps you have wondered why this season has lasted so long. You may have questioned why your journey seems different from others, why answers appear to come faster for them, and why your own waiting has continued despite your trust. You may have asked why similar faith seems to produce different timing. Today I answer those questions with love rather than cold explanations. What is ahead requires a mature faith, a settled peace, and a heart that can rest even when understanding has not yet arrived. There is a deeper work taking place within you. I do not delay because I am careless, and I do not postpone things without reason. I know exactly when to step in. I know when a door should open and when it should remain closed a little longer. What appears to be delay is often protection, and what feels like waiting is often my careful hand working in ways you cannot yet see. There are things you struggle to appreciate today that will make sense later. Some doors remain closed for a reason. Some people left your life for a reason. Some paths looked promising yet ended without explanation because they were never meant to take you where I am leading you. None of it was accidental. Every part of it has been guiding you toward greater stability than you could have reached on your own. Holding on to peace means being able to say, I may not understand everything, but I trust the one who does. I know there are days when exhaustion returns unexpectedly. Questions rise again, even after you thought you'd released them, and there are moments when your faith feels fragile without any clear explanation. Even then, I do not move away from you. My faithfulness does not depend on how strong or steady you feel today. My love for you does not rise or fall according to how much strength you have on any given day. Perhaps you have reached the edge of what you can carry. Perhaps the words have run dry, and maybe you no longer know exactly what to ask me for. I want you to hear this clearly. The place where your strength ends is often the place where my work begins. When you can no longer hold everything together, I still can. When you release your grip, I take hold of what you were never meant to carry alone. I am not asking you to be strong every moment of every day. I am not demanding perfection from you. I am inviting honesty. I want you to recognize your need for rest in me. It is within that sincere and quiet surrender that impossible things begin to move. Do not be harsh with yourself because you feel afraid. Do not criticize yourself because you are tired, and do not condemn yourself because some questions remain unanswered. I am not disappointed in you for any of those things. I understand the road you are walking and the process unfolding within you. Today I remind you that you are not walking through any of this by yourself. Every step you take, even the uncertain ones, is taken with me beside you. Your time has not been wasted. Every day, including the hardest ones, is accomplishing something meaningful within you. This season is shaping qualities that could not have been formed any other way. It is teaching you to trust without needing control, to believe without seeing, and to rest without fully understanding. That quiet faith, the kind nobody else notices but that continues holding everything together, is precious to me. Declare your amen if you believe. You do not need to see the entire journey before taking the next step. You only need confidence in the one walking beside you. You are not waiting for nothing. With every passing day, things are being aligned in ways you cannot yet see. Every sincere prayer carries significance, even when the results are not immediately visible. Every difficult night mattered, even if you still cannot fully explain why. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing has been overlooked. Nothing has been overlooked. Nothing has been without purpose. Every tear you shed was seen by me. and every moment you chose to keep trusting was noticed. Every time you held on to faith without visible evidence, I saw it, and what I have seen carries a significance that no present circumstance can erase. You are no longer carrying this alone. I am still good right now, right here, even in the parts of your life that remain unresolved. My goodness is not determined by visible outcomes. It flows from who I am. And I do not change. The peace beginning to settle within you is more than a passing feeling that fades tomorrow. It is a deep certainty taking root in your heart as you continue choosing trust. It is the quiet confidence that grows when you realize I never asked you to carry the impossible. I simply asked you to place into my hands what you could not solve yourself. That is exactly what you are doing today. Perhaps when you first came to this moment, your heart felt unsettled and your thoughts would not slow down. Perhaps you were weary from thinking, striving, and waiting without seeing anything change. Yet something is different now. Not because every circumstance suddenly shifted, but because you are no longer facing those circumstances alone. I have reminded you that I carry burdens beyond your ability to carry. I reminded you that the battle does not rest entirely on your shoulders. I do not minimize what hurts you. I do not dismiss the concerns that weigh on your mind. I see your tears, your sleepless nights, and the struggles you quietly carry. Yet I will not allow any of those things to determine the final chapter of your life. My love is greater than your fear. My faithfulness is stronger than your anxiety. My ability far exceeds any situation that appears impossible to you today. Hold tightly to this truth. Peace does not arrive when every problem is solved. Peace comes when you place your full trust in me. That trust grows gradually, one day and one step at a time. It develops even during seasons you do not understand, and at moments when silence seems to be the only answer you receive. I never promised a life free from difficulty, but I did promise my continual presence, and my presence is more than enough. There will still be days when restlessness tries to return. There will be moments when fear knocks again and nights when unanswered questions reappear without warning. When those moments come, return to what I have spoken to you today. Remember that I asked you to protect your peace. Remember that I am the one who takes care of impossible things. Let yourself rest again. I never grow tired of caring for you, and I never become distracted from your life. I do not forget you. I do not abandon you, even in moments when you feel unable to take another step. I continue working even when you have no strength left to try again. That is grace. That is love. That is faithfulness. That does not depend on your performance. It is not determined by whether you prayed perfectly or whether your faith felt strong enough. It is not dependent on your ability to understand everything I am doing. It depends on who I am, and I am faithful always. I remain faithful during seasons when you feel inadequate. I remain faithful on days when all you can manage is to breathe and keep moving forward. I am there with you. Today you can continue without rushing, without pressure, and without the burden of constant anguish. Not because everything has become clear. Not because all the answers have arrived. Not because every step ahead is fully illuminated. You can move forward because I am already ahead of you, preparing the way. You can walk with confidence knowing your steps are being guided. You can lay down the burden that has stolen your sleep because it now rests in hands far stronger than your own. These are hands that never grow weary, never fail, and already know the ending of your story. They are tending to every detail with love, precision, and care. Guard your peace. I take care of the impossible. Your life is secure in my hands. There is something more I want you to understand. The peace I am inviting you into is not a place you arrive at once and remain unchanged. It is alive. It grows, deepens, and becomes richer the longer you walk with me. I want to draw you deeper, not into more information, but into a deeper experience of who I am. I want to lead you into aspects of my character that worry has kept hidden from view. I want to bring you into quieter places of trust that many people never discover because they remain focused only on asking and searching, unaware that the door has already been opened. Come closer. There is a kind of faith that most people know well. It is the faith that brings requests, presents needs, and lays before me every concern, every broken place, and every desire they hope will be fulfilled. I do not dismiss that faith. It is genuine, it matters, and I hear every word. But there is also a deeper and quieter faith. It is a faith that does not always need words. It sits with me in confidence, without needing constant explanations, negotiations, or repeated requests. It rests in the assurance that I already know, that I am already working, and that I am already present in every detail. This is the faith I am developing within you. I am not replacing your requests. I am giving them stronger roots. Because when asking is not rooted in trust, it can become anxiety wrapped in spiritual language. It becomes something that looks like trust on the outside, rather than trust that truly lives within the heart. I want something deeper and more genuine for you than a faith built only on words. I want you to come to a place where even your silence with me feels full and complete, full of the assurance that you are completely known, fully loved, and never overlooked, full of confidence that I have seen every detail of what you have been carrying and have not missed a single one. You are entirely known by me, and what I know about you does not lead to condemnation. Take a moment to truly sit with that truth. For many people, the idea of being fully known feels uncomfortable, even threatening. They assume that if someone saw every hidden part of them, acceptance would disappear. They imagine that if every fear, every mistake, every doubt, and every contradiction were exposed, people would eventually pull away. They expect disappointment, exhaustion, or rejection. That expectation often comes from human experience. But I am not like people. I see the version of you that you struggle most to accept, and I am not shaken by it. I see the distance between the person you present outwardly and the person you believe yourself to be inside. None of it surprises me, discourages me, or causes me to withdraw. I have always known every part of you. The whole of you is the one I chose. The whole of you is the one I love. The whole of you is the one I continue working with each day. I do not work around your complexity. I work through it. In fact, the places where you feel least certain are often the places where my strength has the greatest room to move. I want you to stop hiding from me, not because you are doing it intentionally, but because part of you still approaches me expecting correction before compassion. You come prepared to defend yourself before you have even spoken. I want to free you from that burden. You do not have to arrive polished, perfected, or fully sorted out. You can come exactly as you are, tired, confused, uncertain, and still trying to understand what you believe. I will meet you there completely and without hesitation. That is how my love works. It does not require you to be impressive or presentable. It only asks that you come. Your presence matters more than your performance. Throughout this long winter season, I have been working the soil of your heart. The turning of that ground was never intended to expose you for harm. It was preparation for a life capable of carrying greater weight and responsibility. What felt like breaking was often preparation. You felt the pressure of the plow and believed everything was ending. In reality, growth was beginning. The foundations of your character are being raised quietly, built through daily obedience and steady trust. They are being strengthened to carry my promises without collapsing under pressure. Beneath the surface, your trust is reaching deeper into my strength. Those unseen roots are creating a faith that can remain standing when change and uncertainty sweep through your life. I am inviting you to place a sacrificial cornerstone into this ministry today. If you feel led to support this work, you can do so through the QR code or support link provided in the description. This act of giving becomes a tangible expression of faith. It serves as a reminder of your trust and participation in what is being built. As you release what you choose to give, you take part in strengthening the work of this mission and supporting what serves my kingdom. In time, you will stand in a place of peace and fruitfulness. The harvest that grows from your life will endure through difficult seasons and provide blessing to others who pass through your path. You will come to see that no season of waiting was wasted. What emerges will exceed expectations that once seemed large to you. Rest now in this place of quiet with me. Here, away from the noise and demands of the world, we meet together. I am the shelter around your growth and the light that helps bring it to maturity. You are safe here. Think about the things that did not unfold the way you hoped, the doors that stayed closed, the seasons that remained unanswered, and the plans that fell apart despite your effort. I am not asking you to pretend those experiences did not hurt. I know they did. But I invite you to consider another possibility. Within those disappointments, something was being built that could not have been formed any other way. Some things only grow in the spaces that loss creates. Certain strengths emerge only through difficulty. Consider what you understand now that you could not have understood before. Think about the resilience you discovered during seasons when fear felt overwhelming. Think about the compassion that grew in you because you learned firsthand what it means to wait without answers. Those lessons carry value. Think also about the discernment that developed within you. You learned to recognize what is authentic and what merely appeared important. You learned to distinguish lasting value from temporary distractions. Those insights did not come from easy seasons. They were forged during the seasons that felt impossible, and I was present in every one of them. I was never watching from a distance or observing without involvement. I was actively present, working in ways you could not yet recognize. There are things I protected you from that you may never fully understand. There were paths you nearly followed that would have cost you far more than the waiting ever did. There were relationships you almost embraced that would have weakened what I was building within you. There were opportunities that seemed promising, but would have restricted rather than freed you. My protection is not always dramatic or obvious. Sometimes it looks like delay. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it appears as though nothing is happening at all. I know that can be difficult because the human heart often interprets silence as absence and absence as abandonment. But I want you to understand something important. Some of my most active seasons are also my quietest ones. The most detailed work is often done in hidden places. It happens in the dark, beneath the surface, during stretches of time when little appears to be changing. Learn to trust me in those seasons just as you trust me when everything feels clear and understandable. My work continues even when you cannot see it. Now I want to speak to you about your identity. I want to speak to who you are when no one is measuring your progress, when no visible result is validating your effort, and when external signs of success seem absent. I have noticed something important within you. Much of your peace has become connected to outcomes. When progress is visible and results are appearing, rest comes more easily. You feel secure in my love and more confident in where you stand. Those moments seem to confirm that everything is going well. But when progress slows, when results stop appearing, and when silence stretches longer than expected, questions begin to surface. You quietly wonder whether you are still on the right path. You wonder whether I am still pleased with you. You wonder whether you are still enough. I want to speak to that part of you with both gentleness and clarity. Your value is not something that fluctuates. It does not increase when you are productive or successful, and it does not decrease when life feels difficult or progress seems slow. Your worth is not earned during your strongest seasons and lost during the ones where you are simply doing your best to make it through. Your value before me has always been established. It is not something you persuaded me to believe through effort or achievement. I set it in place before you ever took your first breath, before you made a single decision, and before you ever experienced success or failure. You have never been on trial before me. I know this may sound familiar. You may have heard similar truths before and nodded in agreement without allowing them to reach the deeper places within you. But I want this truth to settle somewhere more personal today. I want it to touch the place in you that still feels responsible for earning acceptance. I'm speaking to the part of you that wakes up measuring whether today will be enough. The part that quietly connects peace with performance and believes value must be justified. That is not how I see you. My view of you is entirely different. I see you the way a loving parent watches a child learning to walk. When the child stumbles, the response is not frustration. When the steps are uncertain, the response is not disappointment. There is already confidence in who that child is becoming. The falls are part of the process. The unsteady moments belong to the journey as well. None of them change what I have already declared over your life. You are mine, and that truth is settled. From that place of security, your peace is meant to grow, not from striving harder, proving yourself, or finally getting everything right. Peace is not a reward for perfect performance. It is the natural atmosphere of a life that knows it is safely held. Now I want to speak about the people around you. Some of the pressure stealing your peace has not come from your own circumstances at all. It has come from carrying the emotions, expectations, and opinions of others. It has come from trying to manage burdens that were never yours to carry. You are deeply perceptive, and you feel things intensely. That sensitivity is a gift I intentionally placed within you, yet it has also caused you to absorb more than you were meant to hold. At times you have carried emotional weight that belonged to someone else. There are people who care about you, but do not always know how to care for you wisely. Their unresolved fears sometimes become pressure placed upon your shoulders. Their anxieties are projected onto your circumstances and presented as concern. Even when their intentions are good, their words can leave you feeling heavier instead of lighter. Without realizing it, you have often been managing not only your own inner world, but theirs as well. You have tried to be enough for everyone. You have worked hard to avoid disappointing people and to keep those around you comfortable. That effort has come at a cost. I am asking you to release that burden, not through bitterness and not through withdrawal. Instead, let it go with a calm understanding that you cannot continually give from an empty place. Protecting your peace is not selfishness. It is wise stewardship. I gave you the ability to care deeply. I gave you the capacity to feel, empathize, and love. Like every gift, however, it needs healthy boundaries in order to remain a blessing rather than becoming a source of pain. A gift without boundaries eventually becomes a burden. You are allowed to say, "I cannot carry that for you right now." You are allowed to step away from conversations that repeatedly drain the strength you are trying to preserve. You are allowed on certain days to protect the quiet work I am doing within you, instead of sacrificing it to the urgency of everyone else's needs. This is not about closing yourself off from people. It is about caring for your heart faithfully. A heart that exhausts itself trying to sustain everyone eventually loses the ability to serve anyone well. That is not what I have called you to. I have called you to love from a place of fullness, a place refreshed by time spent with me, strengthened by genuine rest, and grounded in an honest awareness of your own limits. That is not weakness, it is wisdom, and that wisdom will ultimately make you more available to those who truly need you than you ever were when you were running on empty. Now I want to talk about something else that quietly steals peace. It rarely announces itself, yet it takes more than most people realize. That thief is comparison. It begins with a simple glance at someone else's life, their progress, their answered prayers, their opportunities, or what appears to be a smoother journey. Before you even realize it, that comparison leaves behind a quiet doubt about your own story. Sometimes it happens so quickly that you hardly notice it. You see someone moving forward, and something inside you immediately sinks. You did not consciously choose that reaction, yet it appears all the same. I want to address it honestly. Every life I am shaping is uniquely designed, not slightly different, but entirely distinct. Each life has its own structure, timing, purpose, and path. What someone else is receiving right now is not evidence that something is being withheld from you. Their open door is not a statement about yours. Their season of visible answers says nothing about your season of waiting. Their pace has been designed for their story, just as your pace has been designed for yours. The two are never meant to be measured against each other. When you compare your inner experience to someone else's outward appearance, you are comparing things that cannot truly be compared. You see the visible highlights of their journey while measuring them against your own hidden struggles, doubts, efforts, and sacrifices. The comparison is neither fair nor accurate. It will never lead you anywhere helpful. Come back to your own story. Your story is not behind schedule. It is not less meaningful, less valuable, or less carefully arranged than anyone else's. It is exactly what it needs to be for the person I am shaping you into. The depth of your sensitivity, the richness of your compassion, and the understanding being developed through this season are being formed in ways that could not happen any other way. Another person's easier path could never create what this path is creating within you. What is being formed in you is worth the cost of the process. I am not creating a copy of someone else. I am shaping you into the fullest expression of who you were made to be, the most alive, most free, and most capable version of yourself, the one uniquely able to offer the kind of love and impact that only you can give. And that requires a process designed specifically for you. It is a journey that will not mirror anyone else's, and it cannot be measured against another person's timeline. Trust the path you are on, and trust my wisdom in the way I have shaped it. Now I want to speak to you about hope. not the fragile kind of hope that depends on everything working out exactly as expected. I am talking about the kind of hope that remains alive even when circumstances seem to be falling apart. There is a version of hope that is really nothing more than optimism, a tendency to expect favorable outcomes when things appear promising. It can be helpful for a while, but it is ultimately vulnerable to changing circumstances. When life looks good, that kind of hope comes easily. When challenges arise, it often fades just as quickly. You know what that feels like, because you have experienced the disappointment of building hope on expectations alone. You have watched that hope collapse when reality unfolded differently than you imagined. But the hope I am speaking about is fundamentally different. It is not tied to changing circumstances or dependent on visible progress. It does not rise when life seems favorable and disappear when life becomes difficult. It is anchored in something deeper, in who I am, in my promises, and in the truth that I have never abandoned what I have begun. This kind of hope can exist alongside pain. It can remain present in seasons of grief, confusion, and waiting. It can endure even when your situation makes little sense from the outside. Its strength comes from something far more reliable than circumstance. This hope says, I do not know how this will unfold, but I know it rests in hands that love me. I cannot see what lies ahead, but I know who is already there. I may not understand the process, but I trust the one who designed it. That is not passive faith. It is one of the bravest choices a person can make. Holding on to hope when the evidence around you seems discouraging requires a deep kind of strength. It is not strength created by positive thinking or sheer determination. It comes from outside yourself. It comes from my presence, and from the faithfulness I have already shown throughout your life. Even if you have forgotten some of those moments, go back and remember them. Think about everything you have already survived. Remember the seasons that felt final, the seasons that seemed destined to define your life in the most painful way. Then remember what came after. Think about the moments when you were convinced you could not keep going. Yet here you are, still moving forward. Remember the times my provision came through unexpected people, unexpected opportunities, and unexpected circumstances. Remember how help arrived in ways you never could have planned. Think about fears that once consumed your thoughts but eventually lost their hold. Think about losses that felt impossible to survive, and the surprising way you discovered little by little that you could breathe again. None of that happened by accident. It is evidence of my faithfulness woven into the story of your life. That faithfulness is not theory. It is real evidence drawn from your own experience. It is proof that I can be trusted with whatever you are facing today. Yet so often you approach the future as something that must be managed, predicted, and controlled. You treat it like a puzzle that must be solved before it arrives. Because there are so many unknowns, the future sometimes feels more threatening than exciting. You run endless scenarios through your mind. You calculate risks and prepare for every possible problem, hoping nothing will catch you off guard. In doing so, you spend today worrying about difficulties that may never come. I am already present in your future. This is not a metaphor meant to comfort you. It is simply part of who I am. I am not limited by time in the way you are, and I do not discover tomorrow when you arrive there. I am already there, already working, and already aware of every detail that awaits you. There is no version of your future that surprises me. No development causes me to change my plans. No challenge exceeds my ability, and no complexity causes me to lose sight of your story. Everything that concerns you is already known to me, so when your thoughts race ahead in fear, remember this. You are moving toward places I have already entered. You are not stepping into unknown territory alone. You are following me into places I have already prepared. The God who will meet you tomorrow is the same God who carried you yesterday. My faithfulness has not changed. My love has not changed. My commitment to your good remains unwavering. Move forward with confidence, not because you have every answer, but because you know the one who does. You do not need a complete map of the journey. You only need confidence in the character of your guide. And you know my character because you have experienced it firsthand. You have watched my faithfulness remain steady when everything else seemed uncertain. There is a life ahead of you marked by a depth of peace you have not yet fully experienced. It is a steadiness that does not depend on perfect circumstances. It is a joy that can exist alongside uncertainty and the ordinary realities of life, because it is rooted in something deeper than any circumstance. There is also freedom ahead, freedom from the constant background anxiety that has followed you for so long that it almost feels normal. That life is real, and even now it is being prepared. The work I am doing within you today is laying its foundation. Every time you choose peace instead of panic, that foundation grows stronger. Every moment you release control, sit with me in uncertainty, or whisper, "I trust you," even when your feelings struggle to follow, something important is being built. Each choice creates strength for what is ahead. Do not resent this season. Do not spend all of your energy resisting it. There is something available to you right now that cannot be experienced in exactly the same way later. There is an intimacy with me that difficult seasons make possible. There is a depth of dependence that only develops when your own resources reach their limit. There is a tenderness between us in this season that I want you to recognize and receive, not because I want you to remain here forever, but because I want you to carry these lessons into everything that follows. You are not simply waiting for life to begin. Your life is already unfolding. This season is not applause before the real story starts. It is part of the story itself, and I am present in every part of it. I am here in every quiet morning and every long night. I am here in moments of doubt and moments of trust. I am here, I am working, and I remain faithful. And you, exactly as you are in this very season with all its unresolved questions, are deeply, completely, and permanently loved. Protect your peace, not as a performance and not as another task to accomplish. Let it be the natural response of a heart that has finally embraced the truth that I am holding you. Every fear you hesitate to name, every outcome beyond your control, every silence that unsettles you, and every future detail you cannot yet see, rests securely in my hands. And my hands do not let go. Declare I trust if you have faith. This message is made possible through the support of viewers. For additional member content and ways to support this work, please use the QR code or the support link provided in the description. God bless you.